Hello and welcome back to RimWorld. We are continuing our playthrough here as the Covenant of Empane, and we are continuing our Sanguophage run. So the goal of this episode, hopefully, is to, well, one, kind of reduce our wealth because we've been hovering around the same amount, but I feel like we kind of got maybe a little lucky with that last raid that all these traps kind of caught them. I am quite concerned about the effectiveness of our current, I'm never going to call it a kill box because it's not, whatever this is. It's not very good. So I do have to do something about that. We do have another cook here, so I think I am going to send him over here to start whipping out some meals relatively soon because we are out of food as well. And I do want to send Jiang traveling because that is something that has to be done. How are we on? That's considered very dirty. Let's go clean up this dirt, and we're going to send you to prioritize cooking. So I really do want Jiang to start traveling. Where is the dirt? I really also need to make these rooms better because right now they're pretty terrible. Let's clean that animal filth. That should get the dirtiness down. And I'm going to draft you so you don't accidentally eat anything that you shouldn't. And now you're good. Now you'll bring those meals over and we should be good to also form a caravan. That would be kind of ideal. Our prisoner here, currently doing a hemogen farm, but I think I also want to reduce resistance because eventually I think we're going to recruit them. I'm also very nervous about this entire structure being made out of wood because any bit of fire and this whole thing's going up in smoke, there's no way we'd be able to put it out in time, just as ourselves here. So a lot of questionable stuff right now. Let's go ahead and get on the world map. We do have several places around us we could trade, here, and here, and I'm just gonna go to the closest one for now, form a little caravan, and we are gonna get Jiang out to make that trade. We do have an elephant tamed now, so we should definitely use that for just to be able to carry more. But also, it's just good to speed up the route travel time. So if we take the elephant off, it's 1.3 days. If we put the elephant on, it's 0.4. So, I mean, as we add weight, that's going to go down, but it is definitely useful to send a pack animal along. I think I'm just gonna get rid of everything. I like the plasteel. I actually gonna hang on to the plasteel because we're almost ready to. Well, we're gonna do plate armor, then we're gonna do flak armor, and I need plasteel for flak armor. So we're gonna be using it pretty soon. So I kind of don't want to get rid of it yet. I'm gonna take this bio-coated plasma sword off the map just so it doesn't calculate into any sort of wealth because I just don't want that. And what else can we get rid of here? Nothing really. This is poor quality. We can get rid of that. We can always make another one. Outside of that, just a ton of wood on the map, so we probably want to reduce that. We'll take 300 with us. We got some travel supplies, some simple stuff, some kibble. Should be good enough for what we need to do. A 1-day travel time is fine. Let's go ahead and send it. So she will leave the map and move on. And hopefully, people who are left here will focus on kind of, well, one, completing the research, which I'm glad he's doing because research doesn't have any wealth cost. So we want to maximize that as much as possible. But also just making sure we have adequate food and supplies and everything else. So a lot of stuff to do. Look at wildlife. I have a male elephant, so I probably want to focus on the old female elephants more than anything, just so that when we tame, we can, at least have a breeding pair. So if we never tame anymore, we still have elephants that can replicate there. I'm a little worried about the size and space of this. I don't feel like it's enough These animals are going to start starving because there's not enough grass. It's just a bunch of trees. So we're probably going to have to do something about that at some point, but just not quite there yet, I don't think. Okay, there's plate armor. Let's move on to flak armor. Bolting spree sucks because that makes everybody else unhappy. Go ahead and clean up a little bit. Very dirty is manageable, but if we can clean up more, that's even better. I hate having to keep on top of it like that. I do eventually want to do something with concrete just to make this a better environment. I mean, you can insult router all day. I don't care about that at all. Let's go ahead and clean the trash. Just try to improve router's mood slightly. Not that it's really gonna matter. He's really in a bad place. There's a lot of cleaning to do here. Just gotta manually do it so that quality of the room goes up. It's somewhat impressive now, which is much better than awful. Won't have as much of a penalty. All right, so Trev was insulting you, and now you're beating the crap out of him. I think it's well deserved. That's his own fault. Oh, he ran away, the coward. Go back up there, Trev. See what happens to you. Brawl it out, man. The good thing is if he knocks out Trev, it's gonna stop his freak out. And then if he knocks out Router, which does not look likely to happen, it'll knock him out. So it's like a win-win. It doesn't matter who gets knocked out. We'll just go knock out the other person and then haul them all back to jail. All right, we could just immediately go pick up your weapon. Go join the fight. Ideally, we won't kill him. We'll just knock him out, but you know, who knows for sure. All right, there we go. Like that worked okay. Let's do a little capture. Got some conditions that need tending, but it's nothing too serious. Mostly bruises and cracks. All right, Anfisa should be waking up relatively soon. We got some death rest under our belt, and hopefully that will be good. Looks like we are gaining some medical skill, doing some tending, which is fine. Although I am wasting some of this herbal medicine. We're gonna do some hauling after that. I mean, look at the blood marks on Trev. That is like very concentrated in the torso. All right, our caravan has arrived. Let's go ahead and trade. I mean, the most valuable thing is actually the elephant, which I don't really want to sell. I guess I could just wrangle up a bunch of animals and tame them, and then like bring them over here to sell or trade to get some mood up or get some value out of that. Let's go ahead and set all this stuff to sell. I don't know. Definitely wood. We don't have any shortage of that. I do need to see that's 2,600 value here in the plasma sword, so I do need to get rid of that at some point. Oh, that's not ours, is it? Maybe it is. All right, we can sell all that stuff. That gets rid of that. I don't think we have enough cash to buy anything too meaningful. We'll buy some components just because there's value in that. We have plenty of food to get home. Let's go ahead and do that. I do want to look at this, and I do want to drop this bio-coated plasma sword if I can. Just because it's something we don't need. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we want to drop this here. Bio-coated, so it's useless. It's giving us wealth. You see that wealth drop just from getting rid of all that stuff in the caravan? That brought it down. That's going to make raids smaller, and that's kind of really what we need to focus on while we are still quite weak in general. All right, so Router is recovering. Health-wise, mood-wise, he's also doing a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and we've been reducing resistance, but let's do hemogen farming. Looks like Anfisa's awake, swapped out some outfit stuff, which is great. Ultimately, we're going to want to do something a little bit. Oh, don't make food. It's probably really dirty. Oh, no, it's not actually. Wow. Surprised the dirt hasn't been more of an issue. All right, transport pod crash. That is an event. Good. Your left leg is cut and you have a lot of time on you. You know, nimble's a little questionable because it lowers the mental break threshold. Means they're gonna break easier. They are Hussar, which is useful. We don't have a Hussar. That is useful for gene editing, particularly because they have a lot of valuable traits if we can extract it from them. Like, for example, great shooting, great melee, go juice depends if we want it, super fast wound healing. Those are all kind of valuable things. Cold and heat tolerant are okay. And even the downside ones, because how the genes work, you have to kind of balance the metabolic efficiencies. So something that adds to metabolic efficiency will offset something that subtracts from metabolic efficiency. And ultimately, you want it to be as close to 0 as possible so the hunger rate really doesn't change. The complexity we could always work around by just adding more storage containers. So anyway, I guess that's a long way of saying I think I'm going to try to snag this guy. I'm not sure if we'll be able to keep him, but I think I'm going to. It'll anger the what you call it, but that's fine. Why can't the Empire? But that's fine. We can always make up our Empire faction easy enough. All right, recreation wise, not overly happy. Oh, they're hostile. Okay, well that's not super great. So now they could potentially raid us, which probably a little worse than I thought it was going to be. But let's go ahead and convert them anyway. It'll be fine. Better be worth it. That's all I gotta say. As long as it's a small raid, we'll be okay. All right, I think we're coming up on. Yeah, we're not quite there, but Rubinet should crank out relatively soon this last research flak armor. I feel like there's definitely plenty of other things to do, so I don't really want to build another. Well, I guess we already have a research bench and they're still not doing that, so they just have too much to do. All right, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to expand this pen because they are not happy. We are running out of food in there. I should say not food, but natural grass for them to munch on. So we could kind of do one of these, which is a little odd. Oh, looks like we already have the gate over there. So it should be fine to build this and then deconstruct this. Which of course is going to require a bunch of trees getting chopped down. I think half the time on this map is just going to be spent chopping down trees. Because of the amount of trees on this map. Alright, we got a mad elephant coming. Hopefully we'll be okay. Go ahead and get inside. The traps will probably hit most of it, I would think. But just in case, let's get up here. Yep, there we go. Elephant taken out. The good thing is we can definitely get some meat out of that. Go ahead and prioritize butchering, and then maybe we can make some lavish meals. That would be pretty useful, I think. Lavish meals are definitely going to help with the mood, keep people a little bit elevated. They're doing pretty well overall. Like, people are pretty happy. They're at worst neutral, which is fine. Planting is going to be a pretty high priority, and it's going to take quite a while. So I'm hoping we get this built so I can open it up so our animals can start eating. I also need to kind of chop down all the trees in this area because they're getting in the way of grass growing, and that's what the animals can eat. So building wise, I really want to get this done. Oh, don't make more. There's blood on the ground. Oh, we got a man-hunting pack of panthers. That should be all right. It's 10. Should be able to manage that fairly well. Hopefully everybody stays by the base. We could definitely force people to go inside. We should probably do that now. We'll kind of do the same little setup here. and Fisa will come here. They're going to hit several traps, so we're not even going to have to deal with all of them. Just going to be the ones that make it past. We got 3 that are still left standing. Uh-oh. All right, we need to get over here. Okay, that is the end of that. Go ahead and unforbid all items. And we should be in pretty good shape. That was not difficult at all. Some of these are probably going to spoil, but hopefully we can get some meat out of it too, which is just going to be more good quality meals. I am going to increase lavish meals to, like, I didn't mean to hit 110, but maybe 20, just so we have that available to us. And as long as we can craft it, why not? Might as well use up the elephant meat first, because that's what's more readily available. I don't know why they're going up there to grab it and not using the rice that's literally right next to us. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Maybe because I have it set to take the best stockpile. Let's just drop it on the floor. And then you'll probably use the closest one. I think they were grabbing it because when they were done putting this in the stockpile, they were grabbing this because it was nearby and then hauling it back. So my guess is that's the logic behind it. Are we still good on cleanliness? Yes. Well, good enough. It's just dirty instead of very dirty. Well, I guess it's just very dirty instead of super dirty. All right, router is berserk. Means beating the heck out of the other guy in prison. It's not going to work out too well for him, and it did not. Somebody will come up there and do something nice for them. Food-wise, this should be set to simple. So let's keep everybody at simple food. All right, Jang's getting some of that medical experience, which is good. You can do some cleaning. I think that's clean up all this blood. Probably a good idea. That should not be reserved for prisoners. Why don't you consume that? All right, are we getting close to a point where we're going to want to butcher all of these? Probably. Well, maybe we'll wait a little bit longer. All right, flak armor is officially done. I guess we move on to, well, microelectronics would be good because that brings us to the next, like, high-tech level, but maybe we should put a little effort into battery, maybe psychite refining, right, and biofuel refining, so that we actually have a way to generate some cash. Might be a good idea overall. Right, flash storm, that is definitely manageable. Let's go ahead and prioritize cleaning up some trash. Let's fire up this wood fire generator, which, I mean, we got plenty of fuel for that. And then I think the next thing we need to do here is flak helmets and flak vests, because that's going to be definitely part of the outfit that we put together for everyone. So flak helmets we want to make until we have 2, and we're going to want to set this to 51% and normal quality. You know what? Sorry, that's not what I meant to do. Over here, 51% normal quality. That way we're only evaluating that. Drop it on the floor, and then I think I want the skill to be like 6. Although I guess it really doesn't matter because crafting 5 is the minimum. Then we're going to kind of want to emulate the same thing here. So let's go into details. Set this to 2 at 51%. Normal quality because I don't want poor quality. And we'll set that to 6. Ultimately, we'll move that higher because we're going to only want people who have a pretty solid chance of crafting to be the ones that focus on doing it. All right, we didn't carve up all the panther meat, but we have some of it. We'll wait a little longer before tapping into this one. All right, Rubinet is getting to work, and crafting is an 8, so hopefully you'll do a decent job at crafting a nice little flak helmet. Ultimately, I know we have a bunch of cowboy hats, but ultimately I think we are going to want to change this warm weather outfit to not have cowboy hat, and we're going to change that instead to a flak helmet. And then we're also going to want, we already have flak vest selected, So let's go ahead and do that. And that's just going to protect our head from some of the headshots. Hopefully avoiding us getting one shot for pretty much anything, I hope. Alright, there is a little bit of blood on the ground here. Let's try to clean that up. Keep the space as clean as possible. Really got to get to a point where I don't have to worry about that. Alright, how are we doing on this? I know our animals were kind of hungry and starving. Got moderate malnourishment. Think we're getting close. I don't like the miscarriages, because I miss out on the expansion of our animals, but is what it is. Let's try to prioritize working on some of these blueprints. Get this done so we can tear this down. Alright, so I think we're good there. Let's go ahead and issue an order to deconstruct this, which means the animal should be able to just run over there. We only really need to take one out, but I'm going to take all of it out. Yep. And there they go. They're immediately running over there to grab some food and eat up. At least all the stray grass. Nope. There's a big old fire up here I totally didn't even see. Oh my goodness, it burned like half the map. Where's the auto rain? How has it not started raining yet? Hopefully we keep it from hitting our base, because that fire would be a nightmare with all the wood. Well, the fact that it's made out of wood and also all the wood in storage. That will not go well for us. Alright, there's the auto rain. Should put out the majority of the fire. Fantastic. We don't have to worry that much about it now. Has nobody emptied this animal still? No, we still have the components. We have kibble on it. Let's drop the kibble, because they could eat that. Just right where they are. Alright, this is very dirty again. How are we on this panther meat rotting? Looks like it's going bad pretty soon. Try to knock that out. What about this animal? 11 hours? I guess we could haul some of this rice back. That would make a lot more sense than trying to like run around and do one at a time. That's it only counts the lavish meals that are on the shelf, and we definitely exceeded that. So there's like what, 30-40 lavish meals here, but we have more than that, just that it's ignoring the ones that are on the ground. So somebody needs to haul that back. There's definitely a lot of hauling that needs to be done. Can we clean and prioritize cleaning up a little bit? Okay, I think you're good on the food for now. Why don't you haul this so you don't think you need to make more of it? All right, I think we're finally getting a little bit caught up on some stuff that has been behind. Why don't we haul the existing rice before we harvest more, because we are running out of time on that. It's starting to get kind of bad. I think we can go with biofuel refining, because that will help us make better quality fuel, and then we can use that to burn. Certainly no shortage of wood to use for that. Oh, here's another fire. I don't know what happened there, but it is burning away. I am very tempted to chop down all the wood in here, just to see if more like grass grows. Well, the wood and the stumps. Holy cow. Both sides of our base are just covered in fire. Let's make sure our home area is set correctly. Like, we don't need to worry about all the way up here, but we do need to worry about it once it starts to get down in this general area. So I do want some effort making sure that this is all taken care of over here. Yeah, she doesn't like fire. I do not want this elephant inside either, because it's just going to make stuff very dirty and messy in general, and I don't want that causing issues. So let's take a look at our animals. I think I neglected, when we tamed this other one, I neglected to set it to go outside. So that should help keep the filth level down on the inside. I definitely feel like we're behind on the hauling aspect of everything. I would also love to start smelting stuff down, because I feel like we're not doing that right now. And Rubinette's focusing on researching, but I bet you there's just not enough steel. All right, let's go ahead and issue a command to mine out some of this steel, and we can haul this steel back to base. Not enough time in a day. The downside is this is starting to generate wealth again. So if we look here, we've definitely dipped up again on the wealth curve. And some of that is food production, like lavish meals are not super cheap. They're not super expensive, but they're not super cheap. So we also have to get some of this wealth off the map. All right, so Isidoros has been converted, so now we can worry about recruitment. You're still on Hemogen Farm. We should probably start reducing your resistance a little bit if long-term our intention is to recruit you. Although we don't have a lot of blood on hand. Maybe we need to do a little Hemogen Farm on you as well, just to make sure we got enough blood. It's probably worth sending another caravan just to try to get some of this wealth off the map. Psychic Soothe is nice. Did we actually harvest any steel? I don't think we did. I actually don't know if we got any components off of the elephant still. All right, so I'm going to issue a command to do that next. And then I'm going to tell you to mine a bunch of this steel. Man, we're just making stuff work worse by extracting the hemogen. All right, once they do this. All right, you lowered it. Now we're going to pop you back to Hemogen Farm. Try to get ahead a little bit on the Hemogen farming. All right, we got some psychoid leaves. We can't process those into anything at this point, but we can sell them. Where are we getting that from? Oh, we planted it up here. Okay. And that is an accelerated growth rate. So maybe setting the caravan now would be okay. Some of these are pretty close to completing. Let's refuel this just so that we increase the speed. You know, if you're gonna get it, why don't you haul it back too? I think I do want to get off the map before anything too crazy happens here. So maybe once these last like 98% grown psychoid plants are done, I can pack everything up and go sell it, try to get something out of it. This rice creates a surprising amount of value too, so we have to be a little bit mindful of that. Like if we look at our wealth, it's definitely ticking up again. The good thing is our food is pretty stable overall. I think we're doing okay there. All right, the flak helmets are getting generated. Takes a little time, but it's a work in progress. Go ahead and clean up all this filth if we can, or as much of it as possible. 6 tribes people? I do not have the capacity to deal with that. I can barely deal with what I got. You are dumping it there, which is fine. I'm not overly worried about animal skeletons. I don't know if that's what I would consider a priority right now. People seem to be in a pretty good mood overall, though, which is good. Looks like we're finally catching up on some of the hauling that has to be done. I think the harvesting is going to happen here. All right, let's try to haul back what we can. I feel like that's probably risky enough. A lot of psychoid wealth. So let's go ahead and form another caravan, and they will head over here. They're hostile. I'd love to convert them to not being hostile with me. So let's make sure we load up some items. Get rid of the chem fuel. We can always get more of that. I'm not overly concerned about that. We don't need the cowboy hats anymore, right? Because we're going to be wearing black helmets. I'll take the tainted stuff just to get it out of here, even though we're not going to be able to sell it or do anything with it. Take the little bit of silver we got. These ultimately will break down or smelt. I just got to get to a point where we have the infrastructure to handle that. And then under travel supplies, we are going to want to add all the psychoid because there's some value there. So I definitely want to haul that with if we can. We probably have an excess of rice as well. So why don't I go ahead and haul some of that just in case we can get a little more value out of selling what we can. And then we'll do 300 lumber again just to try to get more of this endless supply of wood off the map. All right, that should do us some good. We're about to hit another tech. All right, biofuel refining is done. Now I think what we need to do is, I guess, psychite refining. It's pretty quick. It's a low-cost tech. And it would be good to get that up and running. And then we could go towards microelectronics, which would be the next step forward for us and something that is definitely going to be needed I really, honestly, have to get to moisture pumps more than anything, because we have to start being able to clear out and convert more of this stuff into regular soil so we can build proper walls and preferably get rid of, you know, all these wooden walls, period. Let's go ahead and clean up some of this dirt real quick. Let's haul this so that somebody equips it. Somebody will eventually equip that. I'm a little surprised that we're not doing any hunting, but then again, only one person has hunting it as a top priority. So maybe you'll get around to it at some point relatively soon. The meat would be nice because that would allow us to just crank out more lavish meals. I didn't want to consume, I wanted to haul. I want more of this rice in storage. Oh, you know what? We didn't flag anything to be hunted. I guess that helps explain why nothing is being hunted. We can go get some wild boar meat. We can go get some capybara meat. There's plenty of low risk stuff we can take out. Chalaki will get right on that, apparently. Got a masterwork recurve bow. That should be fine. I do hate wandering that far away. The one thing I never replanted up here that I probably should is a little bit of cotton. I feel like we never really did anything there. So let's see if we could find a little spot to make a little cotton field for now. Probably want that being cotton plant. That should be fine to harvest all that stuff out of there. We ultimately want to convert that into a room anyway, so we could always move the cotton field out of there once we get that up and running. Are you really just hauling a single thing? Like, just take a whole bunch if you're going, man. Going to the same spot anyway. Definitely need to clean up this blood because we don't want a messy floor when we're going to be doing some cooking. I think this will give us drug lab. Bad temperature. That means it's too hot. All right, that's probably good. We got battery. We got air conditioning. I think we've got pretty much everything we need to start getting like proper electricity in our area. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Let's look at power real quick. We could switch over to a chem fuel generator, and we probably should. All right, we want to get these people happy with us. Let's go ahead and trade all this. I think they're at what, -16 or something like that. All right, that's enough to get them happy. Let's go ahead and do a proper trade now. I don't know how much I actually have to trade. Looks like a little bit. Oh, there we go. Get some cash from the psychoid leaves. Is there any weapon here that is good? There is a good quality sniper rifle, which might... Well, we don't have enough cash, so I'm not... Guess I can't really worry about that right now. But good to know it's there. I guess we're just going to buy components. Look at, what, 15 components? There, 18 components. That should be good enough. Get her back home. So now we have 2 people that are happy with us and trading with us, and one big one that now hates us and is going to be a problem. How much wealth left the map when we did that? Okay, so we did drop the wealth down, almost back down to where we were at the lower part of this, which is good because as we build up, we got to keep that wealth down. Otherwise, it's going to become a problem. The raids are going to be too large for us to handle. We could barely handle them as they are. Clean up a little bit of this trash. All right, level 10 cooking is always good. That just makes everything faster. As they get more skills, like as they develop their planting and everything, it's just going to make everything quicker. You guys are running back into the base. Haul something on your way. Just silly not to. All right, we're going to flip you back to recruit. And then we're going to, I guess, reduce resistance. But the blood feed, we're barely keeping up with what we're consuming here. Clean up the trash just to try to keep them, you know, as happy as we can keep a prisoner. All right, these animals are running out of wild food again. There's a little bit of grass regrowing over here, but nothing too intense. Your planting skill is getting up there. That's good. all up. Did that just disappear? I think it did. Yep, this stuff is spoiling and disappearing. All right, caravan has returned. The outdoor rain is really what's killing it. 30 per day. That means one day it's going to knock out half of the health of these piles. So when it's raining, we got to get that rice indoors. Speaking of which, not that this is ideal, but for now, we probably should build something here just to speed everything up a little bit. That way he doesn't get the negative or the poor temperature modifier. All right, so there's going to be a heat wave if we do this. Definitely going to need that air conditioner to be bumped up. We will get some glitteral medicine and some goodwill, which we need because they are not happy with us right now. We actually have to get them all the way to 0 to make them not hostile with us. So that is definitely going to be a work in progress. So I am thinking of doing that, but I want to get like prep for proper air conditioning before we really dig into that. So I kind of have to look at what exactly that is going to do. All right, we do have some more lavish meals cranking out, which is going to help with people's mood overall. You should not be getting the work penalty anymore because the temperature in here is better than it was. So you should be just fine. Let's haul this rice, or as much of this rice in as we can. Trev, I'm going to tell you to haul rice as well because you're already really close to it. Might as well haul as much of it in as you can. We have a little bit of a stockpile building up, but that's fine. I know we sold some of it. All right, well, I am thinking we are going to slap the cut in here for today. I think overall we are making some pretty decent progress. I am a little concerned about the current situation. I'm going to have them make a flak helmet, but we're starting to get flak helmet equipped. Hopefully next is flak vest. I need to get to a spot where we can make meaningful weapons. I'd rather have the value that we're getting generated, the wealth, be spent on equipment that's either going to help me stay alive or help me be more offensive, which is just going to help protect my tribe overall. I think ultimately, research-wise, this is obviously the next step, and then we got to work at deep drilling. Moisture pumps are definitely something very high on my list, just because that's going to help me get to a point where I can pump out all this excess moisture and build more of a proper base, which is going to help me do all the things I want to do. Like, I'm going to need to build an actual kill box and not just have a bunch of random traps everywhere, because those are generating wealth too, but they're not even well designed. So I do have to kind of look at the long-term plan of how we're going to be setting up our base and plan for that and start working towards that, because moisture pumps take a very long time to accomplish what we ultimately want them to do. I also need maybe a long-range mineral scanner, but definitely deep drilling and ground penetrating scanner, because that will help me find resources local on my map that I could dig up without having to leave the map to go fetch those resources. So we have our next steps in mind. Some are dependent on one another. And the whole time I want to try to keep wealth growth down to a relative minimum. I just want to I want to be able to ship wealth off the map and use it to either raise faction happiness with us or be able to buy like better weapons, because some of our people still have like great bows or just I guess some of those are pretty good, but like a machine pistol, a poor quality machine pistol, I would like something a little better than that, because that is not going to hold up well on kind of a brutal raid. And then I also, once we get those moisture pumps in place, I want to start using granite blocks to rebuild this, so that if there is a big fire that we can't keep up with, or we get raided and they try to set everything on fire, I'm better prepared to, make sure that our entire base doesn't burn down. So we have our plan in mind for next episode. I know this wasn't a particularly eventful episode, but we have made a lot of progress. we definitely moved things along. We have another potential recruit in the wings. We are, from research perspective, we're definitely starting to move forward, and we have some of our animals that are starting to build up. We have a breeding pair of elephants, so hopefully we'll get to the point where we have some war elephants, which is the ultimate goal. I want to get a whole bunch of war elephants to protect our base. I think that would be awesome. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, see more content in the future, and we'll catch you in the next one.